Hi everybody, Darth Bunyan here, and today we're talking about Superman and Lois, Season 3, Episode 2. And wow, just a pure powerhouse episode. Touched a lot of people. A lot of people. It's going to hit home for a lot of people. The intro is a quick diagnosis of Lois that she has breast cancer. It doesn't state that right away, but that's what's happening. Um, so that's literally like to get to the credits. Okay, so then the setup is that the kids are planning to go study in the diner because they're bored of studying at home and they can't go to school because of the mold situation that Lana and Clark found last week. And then Clark and Lois go to work. Excuse me. Natalie in the diner. Um, and then Chrissy and Kyle have a chat, and Lana comes and chats to Kyle as well eventually. Well, around the start as well. So instantly you can tell like that Clark kind of knows something's up. Like my friend pointed out to me that when she said that she went and spoke to her dad, that he looked where her biopsy was, but then like looked away and just like didn't say anything. So it looked like maybe on some level he was waiting for her to say something because they're such a good couple. Because later on he does give her the chance and says, I know you're hiding something from me. I like not hiding something from me, but you're keeping something from me, just not telling me about it. And when you're here and ready to talk about it, I'm here. We're a team. So I think he's giving her that chance instead of jumping on her and saying like just being all like accusatory or whatever, especially when it's something so personal and delicate as your health. So then the boys get to the diner just as the girls are leaving. But when the girls are there, Sarah's asking Natalie about whether she liked any boys on Earth or not. She says yes, which we find out later is an absolute ass. And then she gets to talking to somebody else, Mateo, a charming young man, which we'll get to. So they leave, and it's a whole thing, but they ended up going up to the same place because Jonathan's girlfriend from the first season has been messaging him all week, and then so he's going to go to the party to go and talk to her, and it's the same party. Then we get Lois and Clark going off to work, and then she's again trying to distance herself a bit, just to kind of take it all in, I guess. I mean, I can't imagine how that would feel. And so yeah, but then he's like, okay, well, I'd like to be with you if I can, and I can shave hours off your commute, so it helps us both. So she says yeah, and then off they go, and they go to talk to the judge that let out Henry Miller, the Atom Man, and they go to ambush her at Chrissy's request. And the second she brings up Henry, you can see that the judge changes completely. And then like some mobsters come in, like shut the meeting down, and then they're forced outside. So that's when Clark's like, okay, so I know you're hiding something from me. I'd like you to tell me, but I'm not going to force you to tell me. I'm here and I'm ready to go when you are, you know. So then we get to the party. Sarah being a phenomenal wing woman, excuse me. Lots of fun. We get to see Jonathan being a stand-up guy, because Erica is like, oh well, I've had my cake, now I want to come back and eat some more cake because I dumped you and I thought now like everything sucks and I want you back, kind of deal, you know. And he's already happy with Candace, so that's a no-go. He shuts it down and says, listen, I was available to be friends with you, and that's what I thought you wanted as well. Once she makes that clear that that's not what she wants, then he's not interested. So from the casting as well, we find out that, like, well, I found out from Lance at Geek Drums, because he pays attention and I wasn't paying attention, but from the casting of Mateo, Spence Moore the second, I want to think his name is, or the third. His casting said he's going to be playing her cousin from an alternate Earth, so that's like a whole trip. Um, as well, because like she went to Metropolis High, I think it was, and then she was only there for a day, and then he saw her. He's like, "Oh my god, she's so beautiful," and then went back the next day, and then she's no longer there. She's now this mystery girl he's super interested in, and that's how it's gonna like kick off. But then they're gonna have like a different kind of connection, and it's gonna be really sweet. Fingers crossed. That goes really well. It's Superman and Lois. I mean, they have knocked everything out of the park. Even like Ali Austin, like that. Even the bits I didn't like, I could see that there was appeal for other people. So like they still knock it out of the park no matter what. So it's going to be handled really well. Like I said, Sarah being a phenomenal wing woman, doing a really good job, and like so basically her and Jordan's thing now that they're friends and that's it, and that's how it's staying. The awkwardness is going to be out of the way now. Like that's set. That's it. They've drawn their lines, so that's done. So while that stuff's happening, Lois gets Clark to follow the gangsters, and then he follows them off, and then Lois goes and talks back to the judge. Okay, and then so we see Bruno Mannheim is the leader of the gang, the mobsters, the henchmen, and there's a phenomenal chat. There's a phenomenal chat with him and Superman. And he basically is saying to Superman, while you may be saving people all over the world, like when it comes to your own backyard, there is definitely a class divide. And I'm the hero of my people. And while we both know that I might not do it through the best of means, my community is better off having me here. And I'm their savior, not you. And that really hits home for Superman, especially when Bruno said, he's like, I save people's lives. And then Bruno's like, not he, you don't. And he had nothing to say to that. He had nothing to say because that was Suicide Slums. That should have been one of his daily commutes, daily hangouts. He should have been haunting that place. Do you know what I mean? For just catching people. I understand, obviously, they've made a choice by that point, but he's there to save people. He saves people from dying all the time and suicide people. Yeah, Jinx. You good boy. Good job. Sorry. So yeah. So then, like, he had nothing to say to Bruno, and then so like while they're having their chat, Lois is talking to the judge, and the judge is on the roof, and she's like, "I knew the second you brought up Henry Miller, I knew I was going to die today. No one can save me. They're unstoppable." The same sort of things that George Dean was saying over the phone. Oh, right, as well. Okay, so George Dean dies over the phone. I was like, oh, that happened last episode. So much happens this episode. It's a phenomenal episode. So while all that's happening, and she's talking to the judge and stuff, a little bit around the same time and a little bit before, Lois, Lana, and John Henry Irons, after he's consoling her with a dinner, overhearing him die over the phone from onomatopoeia with like some sick shockwaves, shotgun stuff. It's crazy. I don't know how. Is it a mask? What is it? Is that just who she is? I don't know. So like they go back to her office, which was his office, and found something because of like a piece of information he said when it's all about the pride of Smallville. So yeah, so like, okay, so basically what I said on the midweek freak is that I genuinely thought that Lex Luthor and Bruno Mannheim were going to be working together, like I said on my last video, but apparently Bruno Mannheim has a real problem with Lex Luthor because of like him just recouping for himself and leaving everybody else left wanting, so that's not going to be the case. So I'm interested to see how him and Vex and Superman are all gonna like, because it's gonna be a whole big ball with Lois as well. So it's gonna be like a whole big thing, and I'm really interested to see how it's all gonna play out. So yeah, so Lana and John Henry Irons get attacked by onomatopoeia. At which point she's confused because she's already killed him once, which I'm not sure was revealed until this episode, because we knew he had died, but we didn't know how, and we knew that he was working in not the best of ways before he died, which is one of the reasons that he may have like pushed to be alone, you know. So I don't know, but it's really interesting, really interesting. And so when Lois is talking to the judge, she's like, "You're not alone. I understand what it's like to be frightened and fight something that seems unstoppable. That's what I'm doing right now." She's like, "How can you possibly understand?" That's when the big, like, because it's coming to a head where she's about to jump off. Superman has to leave, and then Bruno Manhunter's like, "Well, look at that. Another fire you've got to put out instead of dealing with something that you should be dealing with here." Again, he has to go, but again, Bruno's right. So he's like, "This isn't over. I'll be back." And then Bruno's like, "Don't come back here. Don't come back to my house. Don't. You're not welcome. Especially if you think you're going to be looking down at me like you think you are now." But I think he got knocked off a few pegs, so it's not quite as high as he might have thought before. I'm not saying the ends justify the means, but Superman, like, there is, you know, like, he should have been there for at least some of it, you know. So then he's like, "Okay, I've got to go." So then he comes, and then that's when he's there, and Lois says, "I have cancer," which just hit everybody, smacked him right in the chest. It was really sad. I'm sure a lot of people were crying. I was tearing up. I would have been bawling if my friend wasn't here and I didn't have to, you know, kind of stick manly with it, you know, and not be, which I would have been. So, yeah, Superman was really good in that scene as well. Lois and Bitsy Tulloch and Tyler Hoechlin are phenomenal actors. How like if that was me as Superman, I'd have just dropped out the sky. Like everything would have been taken from me. I wouldn't have been able to fly or nothing. But he was there. Just the wind got knocked out of him. He landed, and then big emotional hug and stuff. And it was really, really done well. And then they go back and tell the kids at the same time as Lana is saying goodbye to John Henry, and he's setting up a security system for her. And it's just crazy deep episode. This is obviously something that Superman can't fight. It's not something that he can just fix. I would argue that maybe that the Fortress of Solitude is a big, fantastic supercomputer, and depending on the law that we're dealing with, it either has like all of the knowledge of Krypton and or like thousands or hundreds, if not hundreds of worlds, you know. So like there should be some ways to cure cancer in that, you know. But then there's like an ethical question, like so say for example, like he cures cancer with like an alien AI, and somehow that breeds like an even more dangerous illness. He's then liable for that, you know. Like not I'm saying like financially or whatever, but like he's done that, you know. He's caused that, trying to help though. So it's a whole thing. So I don't know. But when they tell the boys, they were really, really, really good as well. Really good actors. Did a really good job. Okay, so let's check on the stuff that I've written here to make sure I haven't missed anything out. Mateo is a really good actor. The guy's playing Bruno Mannheim, I forget his name. So a quick look. I love him in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Chad L. Coleman, so good, such a good actor. Really enjoy him. I'm enjoying him this week. I enjoyed him last week. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm really interested in onomatopoeia and how she works. Really interested, and I'm really interested if the power set is specific to the person or the kryptonite that they're using. Probably the kryptonite. So you would have had kryptonite powers, kryptonian powers. Okay, that's cool. Um, boop, 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 boop. Yeah, no, I think that's it. I think we covered it. Okay, so let me know what you thought of this episode. I'm guessing that 90% of us all sat there tearing up and try not to cry, if not crying our eyes out. For me, a straight 10 out of 10. Um, let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. Let me know your score and come back next week. See you later.